30 years straight up. Straight up. Straight up.
Peace, y'all. And great rising. Good morning, however you want to be greeted. This is the AM Inspiration Show to wake that ass. Ooh. This is the AM Inspiration Show to wake that ass up. I am your host, Empress, Coach Rena Nicole of RenaNicole.com, Divine Intervention Show and Podcast of Love Experiences and Sankofa's Naturals. With that being said, the topic of today is 5 ways to stop procrastinating. I'm going to give it to y'all for 30 more seconds, and then we're going to get started and hop right back into the topic.
Straight up.
Excuse me. Yeah, so peace, y'all. And it is Wednesday, September the 28th, 2022. Yes, we are about to close out on that chapter of September. Yeah, with that being said, let's get into the topic. So today, this inspiration is brought to you by 5 ways to refrain from procrastinating. Okay? So for the most part, all humans procrastinate. And the number one way to refrain from procrastination is by reducing the number of decisions you need to make throughout the day. Okay? Look at it like this, right? Every decision we have to make is an energy consequence. So if we're waking up in the AM, then we need to ask ourselves, what do I need to do today? Then we're about to procrastinate the shit out of the rest of the day. Okay? Excuse me. When we're approaching each new day without having given thought to what we need to want it to look like ahead of time, then we'll waste a large portion of our energy thinking about what to do and what not to do. Okay? For example, like, should I hit the gym today or go tomorrow? Should I say yes to like going out with my girls or my guys? Or should I get, back to my schoolwork that I need to complete for today? You know, life is full of so many different decisions, and we're asking ourselves questions like this all throughout the day. Excuse me. The issue arises is when questions compel us to respond with answers, which also compels us to respond with making choices. This can be very draining for ourselves and our self-control. It makes us tired, which leads to us procrastinating on whatever matters the most to us in our existence. Okay? So, by reducing the number of decisions that we need to make during a give like each day, those decisions and making them like ahead of time or creating habits around certain areas of our existence to boost our effectiveness and prevent us from draining our energy by thinking about whether to do them or not. Okay? So, some ways to do that are deciding in advance exactly which days of the week you'll exercise instead of like waking up in the morning, like, what, should I go today or should I not go today? Because that's draining. And it's like, what, because you may have to push something to the side or something of that manner. So you don't want to have to decide the day of. You want to make a plan, write it down, and stick to the plan. Even set your alarm to it. Okay? So picking out your clothes the night before and laying them out, ironing them, or washing whatever you have to do the day before will reduce the stress of when you wake up that you have to rush to get ready. You have to rush to find something to wear. You to prepare your day. Okay? So making choices and prioritizing what is the most imperative thing that needs to be done the next day and schedule a time to do it is better than waking up and realizing that you have to do something that day and pushing stuff aside to squeeze it in because it probably won't get done. So it's simple things that matter the most, okay? So when you do things to reduce the number of decisions in your existence, it will free up energy that you'll need in order to stay focused on doing the big, meaningful things rather than procrastinating on them. Doing it little by little um, will make it, more legit. It will help you to get things done, basically. Okay? Excuse me. Now, the next thing you can do to help you to refrain from procrastinating is, excuse me, I'm burning frankincense, guys, is to finish your day before it starts. The best decision that you can make towards avoiding procrastination is to plan your days in advance. Having a schedule is not being rigid. Having a schedule is being structured, and a lot of people look at it as being rigid because they probably never had a schedule. Excuse me. Um, right. So rather than frantically trying to figure out what you're going to do every single day and stressing yourself out to no means, a better way to approach your day is to take a few minutes at the end of each day to quickly map out the following day. Okay, set your alarm for certain times, set reminders on your alarm, to remind you to do things. And that's the best way to stay structured. That's the best way that I feel that people can stay structured. You have Apple Watches, you have all types of devices that can help you stay structured and stay on a routine. Routines help you from keep being procrastinating. They definitely help you from procrastinating. Okay, so you can call it your OBT, your one big thing that needs to get done that day. That's what you can put it on your schedule as the OBT. So this could be a big task, a goal, or a project that you need to make progress on. Your one big thing. Okay, for example, your one big thing may be, I need to go to the florist and order flowers for my wedding, right? Because you need to do that. You don't want to have a a flowerless wedding, right? Okay. Your one big thing could be, I need to get the final approval on this project that I am working on for the resources, okay, with the stakeholders, right? So that could be another big thing. Other big thing could be, I need to go to a parent teacher conference today. That could be another big thing. The big thing is up to you. Whatever the big thing is, make sure that you put it somewhere in your existence for the next day where it's there, and that's the goal for the day, is that you're going to complete this big task so you can progress in it. Okay. Now, the next one is the NMWs, right? So that's your no matter what's. Okay. These are your non-negotiable daily routines. Okay. For example, exercising, your nature walk, your daily meditation, your daily reading, like at least 30 minutes a day. Okay. Self-mastery related work, and time spent with the people that you love. Okay. So that's your NMWs, your no matter what's. All right. And finally, you can just, whatever time you have or energy you have left, you can use that for whatever else that needs to be done for the next day. This way that your most important goals and projects are giving adequate timing to be crushed and not to be procrastinated on. Okay. Now, the next tip in to not procrastinate is the nothing alternative. Okay. I know you like the nothing alternative. What is that? Okay. So the nothing alternative is a tip for avoiding procrastination that was coined by an influential crime fiction novelist named Raymond Chandler. Okay. So he used it as a way to avoid procrastination in his daily writing. You know, he had difficulty sitting down at the keyboard and cranking out predetermined word count every day, like most successful writers. Okay. So he developed another method for overcoming procrastination and getting himself to do work. So he would set aside 4 hours every morning and give himself an ultimatum: write or do nothing at all. Okay. The nothing at all alternative. Okay. So basically, it's, if you don't have to write or work whatever you need to work on, okay, but you can't do anything else. So with those two options in mind, at some point you're going to start working, if nothing else but to keep yourself from getting bored. And although your own work might not be as simple and clearly defined as the guy we were just speaking on, you will certainly benefit from clarity that comes from setting aside time to do either nothing or focus on your one most important thing. Okay. Now, figuring out for yourself your most important goals for tomorrow, you can set aside at least 90 minutes of totally interrupted time to focus on the goal. We're not talking about hyper focusing. We're just talking about no emails, no smartphones, no Facebook, no nonsense. You know, you don't, if you have to shut down your Wi-Fi, you have to go to that extremity. You can do that because it takes 15 minutes to load. That's nothing. 15 minutes to load back up if you unplug it. Okay. If you have to do that to focus so you can be more structured and stop procrastinating so you can progress, that's nothing. That should be nothing to you. So, with that being said, keep that in mind, that you don't have to always be dialed in. You can tap into yourself, but you don't always have to be dialed into everything around you, because that does add to frustration. That does give you distractions, and it does help you to procrastinate more. Because, like, you know what? I'm doing this now. I can do that later. You know, especially when you don't have a structure plan or you don't have alarms or different things like that of that nature. It will definitely keep you distracted and not keep you on the ball to progress more and to meet your goals in different things of that nature. Okay. So keep that in mind when you are not structuring your existence. So it's your time. Keep in mind that it's your time to turn up to high gear and focus. Okay? There's nothing wrong with being focused. That's a great quality to have. So the next step will be to um, focus on something doable. Sometimes we are overly, I can't think of the word right now, but we overly do it. We overly do it. And we schedule things or of that nature. We schedule things and we're like, you know what? It's just like, I can't do that today. It's just not going to fit in. It's just too much. It's just asking too much of my energy currency. I don't have that much currency to give today. And you wind up procrastinating on it. Okay. So figuring out your very next action for any given thing you're working on is one of the most powerful things that you can do. Just figuring out the next specific action you need to take in order to move closer to completion, do it. Just do it. Like sometimes you just got to do stuff. Okay. So it's no secret that when you like procrastination causes a lot of stress because even though you may procrastinate and say you're going to do it later, what do? You start to think about it. And that's all you do. You think and you think and you think some more. And then you think a little bit more. And you think a little bit more and a little bit more. And you think some more after that. You know, it's just like you can't stop thinking about what you need to do. And the way that you have to relieve your pressure is to simply just do it. Okay? So, by figuring out your very next physical action, no matter how small it is, it will help you to move something forward. Whether it's a task, a project, a phone call, or something around the house. Doesn't matter. It was just going to propel you into that goal or that completion that you desire. If that makes any sense at all, okay? So if you learn how to shift your focus to something your mind perceives as doable, it makes the difference, that makes the difference, if that makes any sense at all. So thinking about things that you've been procrastinating on, like, just completing something at work, okay, for example. Focus on how it makes you feel whenever you think about how you have to do that presentation. And then you think of all the work that's involved, right? And you might feel overwhelmed, or you might feel sad, or you might feel like this is just not the job that I wanted. This is not, the place I wanted to be in life. Okay, fine. That's an acceptable thought, right? That's a thought. That's an automatic thought. So if you can shift your focus to one simple thing that you can do in that moment to move the presentation, even if it's like the tiniest bit closer to being done, then you can feel better. You can feel more accomplished. Like, you know what? I did that and I feel better. Now I can do this. It may propel you even more to the next action. So when you do something that your mind perceives as doable, your energy always goes up. Your sense of direction and ambition will increase dramatically, and you'll be able to motivate yourself to get whatever you need to get done. Done, period. Point blank, period. Okay? So when you think about actionable insight, anytime that you feel procrastination creeping back up again, you should take it as a trigger to chunk down whatever you feel like procrastinating on into something simple and doable. Look at the smaller things. Find something smaller that you can work on and do that. Okay? Because it's opening the keynote, like in your presentation, okay? Or if it's simply just taking dinner out, if it's taking the meat out or whatever you eat, the broccoli, whatever. If it's just doing something small, if it's just mopping the floor, if you can't clean the whole house in that moment, you just want to sweep the floor or mop the floor, just do it, okay? Because procrastination on it, like, it's not going to get mopped by yourself. You're not going to fall asleep and wake up to a mop floor. That's not going to happen. You're not going to wake up to a clean house. That's not going to happen. So just doing it in baby steps or taking your time and doing things will help you to, will propel you to a better result, if that makes any sense at all. So it will give you that momentum that you need. And the main thing, okay, behind procrastination is adjusting your environment. I noticed, I haven't even given any examples for myself. I don't want to make this like a Nicole thing, okay? So, I noticed that when I'm in environments that distract me, I wind up not doing what I want to do. I push things up. Oh, I'll do this later. Oh, I'll do this later. I'll do this later, and then I'll push it to the next day. Especially when it comes to, for example, like scheduling rooms. I can use Clubhouse as an example. Especially when it comes to scheduling rooms on Clubhouse, sometimes I feel like if I schedule a room, then certain people will open up a room as soon as I open up a room, or scheduled it at the same time. And I'm like, you know what? That's real shady. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll do mine an hour later. And I'm like, okay, the room is still going on, so I'll do it in the next hour. And I'm like, you know what? Forget it. I'll do it tomorrow. And then I'll wind up doing it like a week later. Because it's like I procrastinated on it, like, I had other things I could have been doing. I did other things, but I didn't get the goal met of impacting others the way I like to, or having these conversations to help people grow and sustain. And so I can learn from them. They can learn from me. We can have a mutual experience together, and I know that I procrastinate when it comes to that. So for example, like if you're an alcoholic, it's not wise to keep, alcohol in the house, or going to bars, or people who can't respect your decision to lay off of alcohol. You know what I'm saying? So the final tip to avoid procrastination all over yourself is to remove cues that trigger your procrastination habits in the first place. How do I remove the procrastination habit? Is to not focus on what other people are doing, or to not distract myself at times where I could have another commitment. I stick to it. I look at my schedule like, okay, I'm scheduled for this today. I'm committed to that, and I try my best to do it. Even if it's not for the allotted time that I had planned, or even if it's not fully done, I put some work into that to make sure that I'm going to progress later. So if you can't work, like for example, if you can't work like in public places because of constant movement and noise, then you can find a quiet place to sit down and focus. Okay. So it's like this feature on our phones that I use is called Do Not Disturb. And while I'm writing, like my books are different things, or whatever you're doing, you can just use the Do Not Disturb feature. And it can help you to get off of that path of procrastination, and it can put you on a path of productivity. Okay. So just putting your phone on Do Not Disturb and then putting your phone away so you don't look at it requires you to physically get up in order to check it. So if you're busy, you're not going to want to get up to go check your phone if it's rooms away. If you're doing work or something like that of that nature, you're not going to want to constantly keep on, getting up and doing and looking for phones and stuff like that. So in order, to not do that, just make sure that you use the Do Not Disturb feature if you have to. Okay. Now keep in mind, if you're using the Do Not Disturb feature and you're using alarms on your phone, you won't get the alarms because your phone is on Do Not Disturb. Now, your notifications and alert can be disabled on your computers as well. And sometimes you can take off that Samsung watch or that Apple watch, if you just need a few hours to do something and you can't be disturbed. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay? So just remember that procrastination can be a good thing, because it can allow an idea or an important piece of work to percolate for a certain length of time. It can spark new and creative insights. You could try and start something, you can walk away and come back to it later. And while you're away, you may notice an idea pop up for whatever you are working on. And basically it's like bazinga, okay? So just keep in mind that having a structured life is not having a rigid life. Having a structured life will propel you into the future. It will help you to maximize your potential and definitely refrain from procrastination. With that being said, I just want to say thank y'all for coming out today to our AM Inspiration Show. This was your host, Empress Coach Rena Nicole, and we will see y'all tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget, if you come across this podcast, to share it, like it, even comment. Peace, y'all. Take care.